10 facts about Volodymyr Zelensky, President of Ukraine. Volodymyr Zelensky is the face of the Ukrainian resistance in the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war. He's been receiving overwhelming support from all over the world and is probably #1 on the Ukrainian hit list. However, there's much more to him than you think, like the fact that he can play the piano with his genitals. In today's video, we'll be discussing 10 facts about the President of Ukraine, so stick around. Number 1, he is not that old. Most of the time, we expect our presidents to be over 50. The median age of the inauguration of incoming U.S. presidents is 55 years alone, which is why you'll be shocked to know that Volodymyr Zelensky is in fact not that old. Would you like to make a guess? If you said anything other than 44, then you're wrong. Yes, it's true, the Ukrainian president is only 44 years old. He was born in January 1978. He grew up in Russian-speaking southeast Ukraine. Zelensky took hold of the presidential office in 2019 when he was just 41 years old. For him to become a head of a nation at that age with the rest of his accomplishments piled up is no less than an impressive achievement. Number 2, he is the first Jewish president. Most of you watching may not know this, but Zelensky is Jewish. He may be Ukraine's 6th president, but he is the first Jewish president. His great-grandfather was only one of his siblings to survive the Holocaust. The rest of his 3 brothers were murdered by the Nazis. As mentioned before, he grew up in the Soviet world, which isn't exactly known for its friendly behavior towards the Jews. In the 1980s, the Soviet Union had forced 1.5 million of its Jews to emigrate. However, Zelensky and his family were part of the few 100,000 Jews who decided to stay right where they were. His Jewishness, in fact, has never proven to be a problem in regards to his presidency or his current leadership role. Number 3. He was an actor before he was president. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky wasn't always in the suit and tie you see these days. Before he was standing at the podium giving speeches and leading resistances, he was busy acting on the big screen. The president was originally an actor and comedian in Ukrainian media. He was the star of a show called Servant of the People. Ironically, Volodymyr played a role of a high school teacher who landed in the president's seat after one of his speeches against corruption went viral. Talk about foreshadowing. The series had 3 seasons with a total of 51 episodes. Zelensky starred along the likes of Anastasia Chapulik and Boris Abramov. Well, now we know what we're binge-watching over the weekend. He also played the role of Paddington Bear in 2014. Not in the English version, but in the Ukrainian version of the movie. Other titles in which he's made an appearance include The 3 Musketeers, No Love in the City, 8 First Dates, and Love in Vegas. What's even more interesting is that Zelensky is a co-founder of his own production company by the name of Studio K-Vartel 95. Number 4. He is an avid social media user. Unlike many boomers out there, Zelensky doesn't have a hard time when it comes to using social media. In fact, he is an avid social media user. These days, you can find him making daily videos to boost Ukrainian morale as the war rages on. He's also been recording videos in Russian to plead to the Russian people and get them to join the Ukrainian cause. Back during the campaign for his presidency, he used social media to his advantage. He reached out to his audience through social media channels and posted short clips on YouTube. Instead of the traditional election rallies, he stuck to using his comedic skills and the best of his technology to his advantage. Number 5. Zelensky studied law. Zelensky initially studied law. He holds a law degree from Kiev National Economic University, which he got back in 2000. However, he never got around to putting it to use since he later went on to dabble in comedy. In 1997, Zelensky starred on the televised comedy competition KVN with his group called K-Vartel 95. He became a series regular. Later, when he was done with acting and comedy, Zelensky went on to become a political leader. Let's just say that a law degree never came in handy. Number 6. His amazing piano skills. It seems the Ukrainian president is a treasure full of hidden talents. Adding to his list of skills, Volodymyr can in fact play the piano. If you don't think that's a big deal, you certainly will after you hear what we're about to tell you next. Volodymyr doesn't exactly go with the crowd and play the piano with his hands. He instead plays it with his genitals. Yeah, you heard it right. The president of Ukraine plays the piano with his balls. Don't believe us? Well, you can see yourself, since there are many viral videos on the internet showing exactly that. You can see Volodymyr before a crowd performing a special rendition of a Jewish folk song in one video. The crowd is absolutely dying with laughter. We're just a little shocked, to be honest. Number 7. He is also a dancer. In addition to playing some nice music, the president of Ukraine is pretty good on his feet as well. He can dance pretty well, we might add. He made an appearance on the popular show Dancing with the Stars. This happened way back in 2006 when Volodymyr was a very young man. We got to see him bust some amazing moves on the dance floor, which honestly isn't surprising, because only the best of the best made it on the show. In fact, Zelensky actually went on to win the 2006 installment of Dancing with the Stars. In one of the clips that went viral, we can see him gracefully taking the dance floor with dance partner Olena Shaptenko. The two can be seen putting up an impressive performance of Paso Doble. There's one thing for sure, Volodymyr really knows how to impress the ladies. Number 8, he's been accused of corruption. As great as you think the president of Ukraine is, he's got a few skeletons in the closet as well. For starters, he's been accused of corruption. Zelensky's name was dropped in the Pandora Papers. For those of you who don't know, the Pandora Papers are 11.9 million leaked documents, revealing the names of people who are the hidden owners of secret bank accounts, offshore companies, and mansions. The leak happened back in 2021. Zelensky has been linked to offshore shell companies along with his production company. Number 9, he played a role in the impeachment of Donald Trump. Putin isn't the only president Zelensky's been giving a hard time to. He also played a role in the impeachment of Donald Trump. Back in 2019, Trump called Zelensky to help with the investigation of then-President Joe Biden, as well as his son Hunter, who held a seat on the board of Ukrainian National Gas Company. This very phone call led to the first impeachment of the former president Donald Trump. He had used his office for political gain, which, as you guessed it, goes against the rules. He also withheld $400 million in support and authorized military support for Ukraine. Because of his role, Zelensky had quite a fair share of American fans as well. This man truly deserves our support. Number 10, he was elected with 73% of the vote. As mentioned before, Zelensky was elected in 2019. But what you don't know is that he was elected with 73% of the vote, an unprecedented feat in Ukrainian history since Ukrainians have always been known for deep distrust of their leaders. His campaign was based around him promising to negotiate peace with Russia. He also promised to get rid of the corrupt oligarchs. These are wealthy individuals who control much of the country's economy. You would think that with such a mandate, the oligarchs would distance themselves from Zelensky. Still, during his campaign, Zelensky received the support of none other than Igor Kolomoisky, who is an oligarch. What's even more interesting is that Zelensky's party name was the name of the series he starred in, Servant of the People. His party later also ended up winning the parliamentary landslide. With that win, the party held more political power than any other politician in the history of Ukraine. This was Zelensky's first step in the world of politics. And that's a wrap for this video. Which of these hidden facts shocked you the most? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section down below. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to our channel for more videos. Bye now. Bye now.